All right, hi guys. My name's Hart, Lambur. This is Yinon, Ravid. We're the co-founders of Openfolio. We're really excited to be here to announce the launch of the world's first open investment network. We built Openfolio because we realized that the current tools do not meet the needs of the modern investor. Current tools have you investing alone, investing in the dark. We realized there had to be a better, more open way. And we knew this from our own experience. Yinon and I spent a combined 15 years on Wall Street trading floors where we were engaged in open, free dialogue with the people around us. We used the trading floor as a sounding board. We used it to help make sense of our own investments, to see how we compare, to the people around us, to make sure our investments were on the right track. We'd ask the people on the floor, hey Yinon, what are you doing in your retirement account? Hey David, what do you think of technology stocks? Well, the conversations and dialogue of the trading floor were truly open and freely shared. This conversation was available to a tiny group of people that had access to this sounding board. We knew there had to be a better, more open way. We knew we had to bring this open sounding board to the masses. And that's why we're so excited to announce that today we're finally bringing community to personal investing. With Openfolio, you'll never invest alone again.
So, to tell you guys a little bit more about how it works, we like to say that we're bringing the sharing economy to personal investing. The concept of Openfolio, and we'll give you a little bit about how it works, is that you go ahead and you connect your LinkedIn account or your Facebook account. Tell us a little bit about who you are, and you connect your brokerage account to tell us about what you're like as an investor. We create a financial profile for you about your ideas in percentage terms. It's not about your money, but about what you're invested in percentage terms and your ideas. And with that, we can give you insight into who you are as an investor and insight into how you compare to the people around you. At its core, Openfolio lets you compare and benchmark who you are as an investor and how you're doing versus the people around you. This sort of radical transparency into what you look like and how you compare, we think helps people become smarter, more confident, and more informed investors. Our real goal in all this is to begin to democratize finance and to open personal investing in a way that hasn't been open in the past so that people can, again, look at their investments and really feel more confident and more informed. So today, as Hart said, we're launching the iPhone app, and we're going to give you a quick demo and a quick tour of how it all works.
Sorry guys, just 1 second. Here we go. All right, excellent. So, like Yinon said, we are so excited to launch our iPhone app and demo it for you guys here today. In the Openfolio, when you join the Openfolio community, you go through a brief sign-up flow, and you end up on this page, our benchmark page. And we're doing this from Yinon's perspective. So this is Yinon's brokerage account linked up here. And Yinon now can see for the first time, he can see his portfolio, and he can see how he compares to the Openfolio network. So here's his performance today, and he can see his performance versus the market, the S&P 500. But our innovation, what you've never been able to see before, is how he compares to other real people or real slices of our data set. Here, Yinon can see how he compares to the network, the people he follows on Openfolio, to people in his demographic, men his age, women his age, to guys that work in technology or media or finance, or to people that went to his university. To show you how it works, let's go with the first thing. Let's compare him to the market. We can click into the S&P page, and Yinon can see his portfolio performance relative to the S&P 500. If you take your thumb, you can actually mouse over his performance and see in a pretty visual way how he's actually done over time. But the real fun happens if we compare Yinon to interesting data sets, like men his age. So we take Yinon and we compare him to men 25 to 34. And we can see that Yinon we can see how Yinon compares to real people, a real segment of investors that are relevant and targeted to him. On the trading floor, we never invested alone. We're democratizing that concept. We're finally letting people see how they really compare to other investors around them.
So what makes this all possible is the financial profile. The financial U is sort of what we like to call it. What I've done here is by connecting my brokerage account and telling us a little bit about who I am, we create a financial profile. And this is me, and this is what I'm sharing with the world. In percentage terms, I'm sharing my holdings and my largest allocations. Because I'm actually sharing this and I'm part of the network, we can do some of the things that Hart just walked you through. Where this gets pretty interesting is I'm going to click into the people that I follow, scroll down a little bit, and I'm going to go to Andrew. Andrew's my future and brother-in-law, and he's actually sharing his portfolio as well. So I just clicked into Andrew's holdings, and Andrew's actually sharing what he owns with the network. In percentage terms, of course, because it's not about his dollars, it's about his ideas. It's not about his money, but what he thinks and what he's actually investing in. And we allow users to be private or public. We found that the majority of users are totally fine being public, because again, it's about your ideas in percentage terms. So to walk through this a little bit more, Hart's going to walk you through one of Andrew's holdings.
So let's look at some of Andrew's holdings here. Apple, they announced their new iPads today. We can click into Apple and we can see information that you've seen before. Apple's stock price, a chart of its performance over the last year. But our real innovation is that we're bringing community to invest in. So here's a stock, and I want to see from Yinon's perspective, who else in the network owns Apple? Who else does Yinon know that has an opinion or has a view on this stock or security? And we can do that. First of all, we can see that on the Openfolio network, people are buying Apple. We can see the trend of our community, the trend of our data set. And we can click in to see who in the network actually owns this thing. And this is the real power of our data set. Here we have social validation. Yinon can see that he's all right for owning Apple. He can see how he can see the people around him, the expertise, the wisdom in his extended network. He looks and he sees some of his friends. He sees me at the top. There I am. I also own Apple. Our mutual friend Blake, Yinon's old coworker Ben. For the first time, our network, our community, gives our users the power to validate their own decisions, their own investment decisions, and make sense of the stocks and the other investments in their portfolio.
So when we set out to do this, we sort of assessed the landscape around us and the existing tools for the modern investor. And there are a few other things that we thought were missing. And we've added a little bit of that into the app and into the service. So I'll highlight a few of them to give you guys a flavor. The first one, and I just clicked on my Movers tab when I go to my main screen. The first one is the ability to see what you own on a daily basis without having to input tickers manually. So because you connected your brokerage account, because you connected your portfolio, we can show you this is what you own today, and this is how it's doing in percentage terms. So these are my largest holdings, and again, I can click into something I know well, and this is GDV. And as Hart just showed, I get that same social context and validation around it. The second bit, we always wanted a way to easily see what's going on in my network without having to dig into it or to call people or anything like that. So these are my notifications, my curated feed, if you will, of social and investing activity. And the third bit is there's a lot going on around me, both in the groups around me, the people I know, and generally in the network. So we let you explore through that for a bit. Let's look at a couple groups. You can explore and see what different demographics look like. You can see the people that you went to school with and how they're doing. Or you can even look at people by industry. This is just a small flavor of how we can cut our data set, because obviously there are infinite ways to cut the user base, but these are the ones we think are the most relevant. And then finally, we've imported some interesting investors, and I'll pull up one. We've imported Warren Buffett, for example. Warren has to publicly file his holdings, but those holdings are in SEC documents that are very hard to parse. We've put Warren on the same plane as all the other investors, and we've added about 50 managers like this so that people can actually see what Warren Buffett owns. And this is Warren Buffett's portfolio. That hopefully gives you a little bit of a flavor of what the app does and a little bit of our essence and the core behind what we're doing.
So guys, we're so excited to finally launch our business, launch our service here with you guys today. We do have the web version of our app has been tested by thousands of beta testers over the last couple months, and feedback has been really exceptional. We're working shortly on starting development on our Android version, which we're also excited about. We're really just excited to and believe that our technology and this democratization of financial information will finally meet the needs of the modern investor. Our hope is that with Openfolio, you will never invest alone again. And we'd love to take a few questions from the audience.
I'm sorry. The question was, how do you maintain the privacy of my personal information?
Sure. I mean, first of all, to realize Openfolio is all about percentages. There's no dollar numbers anywhere on the site. We don't want to know how much money anyone has, and none of the Openfolio employees can even see that. To dive into security on how we connect to your account first, we use a third-party data provider that has 15 years experience protecting millions of financial brokerage accounts. Actually, the provider that originally aggregated the data for Mint.com when they announced. We use their data provider, and we have a read-only connection. We store no security credentials ourselves, and we only have access to, our employees only have access to your information in percentage terms. No dollar numbers. So, no dollar amounts. So security is locked down that way. When we look at privacy, as Yinon mentioned in the presentation, Openfolio, you join the network to share elements of what you're like as an investor, but you can be private as well. You can flip a switch and maintain your privacy, not share your holdings publicly.
Hi. Just wondering what kind of investor this would be really worthful for. I'm more of a passive investor. Would this be something that would be useful for me? Could you hear me?
We could, yeah. So the idea is it's a service and a tool for all types of investors. You could have a financial advisor, a stockbroker, you could use a digital advisor, you could be all on your own. The service is trying to let you compare how you're doing versus the people around you. And we think that's agnostic to your process. It's really about how am I doing okay, how are the people around me doing, and that's a great benchmark if you do have an advisor, and it's a great benchmark if you don't have one. So we're really trying to be out there for all types of investors, whether you're a little more active or a little more passive. Everybody needs to benchmark themselves.
There we go. Are there any plans to do a smart TV version of this, where this is on the television set as opposed to the phone? And what about the iPad as a possible app?
So on the iPad, the web version of Openfolio is actually iPad optimized. It looks great on tablet form, and I encourage you to check it out. It really works very well. I actually hadn't occurred to do a smart TV app to me. That would be very cool. I'd like to do it like on here rather than showing our Apple TV. Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, great idea.
Hi. What kind of features are you going to be adding in the future to improve the service?
Can you speak up just a little bit?
Sure.
Closer?
What kind of features will you be adding in the future to improve the service?
So the way we look at Openfolio in a lot of ways is we're building a network, we're building a data set. And as we build this community, we get more and more information about what people are really like as investors, and that gives us more and more opportunity to digest and relay that information back to our users. So we effectively imagine that as Openfolio grows, we'll be able to grow features that are available and accessible to broader and broader ranges of investors, to people that maybe don't feel like they have the expertise to dive in to the product we currently have. So that's a little bit ambiguous as how I'm answering your question, but it kind of remains to be seen the information we get out of our data set and what we can do to make it actionable and digestible by everyday people.
How do you make money?
So answer it sort of in two parts. One is what we're focused on today, and two is where we're going to go. So what we're focused on today is creating a great user experience and building community. Because in our minds, when we got into this, that's what was missing the most. There are a lot of companies out there making money off of personal investors in various degrees and offering a really crappy experience and no community and no validation. So step one for us over the next 6 to 12 months is to really build that community. When we do that, we're giving you visibility into your network and into your investments. Step two, over time, and this is going to be a little ambiguous, is to make that information actionable. So you see all this, what do you do next? And that, that delves into the advice space, into the trading space, but it really all hinges on building a community, building trust, and building an experience that makes this stuff not scary, not boring. It makes you actually want to go back to it.
Yeah, yes. In the future, just to actually tie it back to the last question, as we grow our network, as we grow our data set, we have more and more information and insights to offer back to our users. And what I think we do in the future is offer a subscription-based model where for the users that value that information, the portion of them that value that information, we would offer that back to them for a subscription. Thank you, guys. Really a pleasure being here with you. Thanks.
Thank you.